Miss Janet. Go on, girl, Miss Janet. Who, apparently word on the street is because, we did talk about a little bit about, and I don't want to break all that down again about the foolishness and the misinformation she gave in regards of Kamala Harris's ethnic background and all that other stuff and how she was given the grace because everybody talking about, oh, Janet deserves grace and all this other stuff. She was given the grace by the reporter who interviewed her for The Guardian. If those people actually read the article, they would know that. I feel like I need to pull that article up and read that part so that way people know exactly what she said. Because I feel like a lot of people misinterpret, or just ran with whatever or got talking points in what she said and didn't listen when she was talking about what she said and talking about, oh yeah, she needs the grace. She was given the grace. The problem was that when the reporter was trying to tell her, okay, that's not true, this is what is true, she went and doubled down and was like, well, I was told this, that, and the third. But nobody was questioning, well, who are you getting your information from, niece? Who is telling you, auntie? Oh, I know auntie, because Janet auntie age now, like just like how we call Mary J. Blige auntie. It's Auntie Janet. Child, somebody went and said something that had me cackling, was like, see, that's why your mama beat you with that, burned your ass with that iron. When they said that, I fell the fuck out. Because, you talking about, remember when Penny got burned by the iron in the episode of Good Times? So, yeah. So, I'm going to see if I think I can find it because I did pull up the thing of what she said. Oh yeah, because she was talking about how she don't talk about like with her music and all this other stuff, her childhood memories, her 11-year marriage to Renee Elizondo, the thing with Justin Timberlake, and all that other stuff. So I am scrolling down trying to find it. So I think I did find it. Where it was like, where is it? The Kamala Harris thing. See, this is why I hate when I don't have stuff at the ready. Well, I'm like, oh wait, okay. Because I was like, wait a minute, shouldn't I be scrolling down a little further? Blah, 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 blah. I feel like I am killing a lot of time. I don't like when it comes to having a lot of the air and stuff where I don't. Okay, I'll find it in a second. But okay, I found it. I was like, yeah, you had to scroll all the way to the bottom. So they basically said the following, and I'm gonna pull up the thing so that way we could read it as a class. So it says, we move on to talk about the state of the nation. Jackson brought politics directly into the pop consciousness with Rhythm Nation, which addressed racism, poverty, and inequality. All issues just as urgent today as they were 35 years ago. She is a prolific social media user and has used her profile to support Black Lives Matter to bring awareness to police brutality. Does she feel despondent about how slow change is incoming, or is she hopeful about the future? Saying, quote, well, there's all this child trafficking crap that's going on and this trafficking crap, you know what I mean? That wasn't so prevalent then. It's a strange about turn, and not least because of the many allegations of child SA made against Michael. But it also the most forceful she's ever been since we sat down. At least we didn't know about it back then. I don't think we did we? Not really. I think that it's really now out in the open because it's like $1 billion business and all that crap. Well, that's also because social media does bring attention to a lot of things that we weren't really paying attention to back in the day. So it goes on to say, I wonder what internet rabbit hole she's been going down, but before I can ask, she's moved on. On the Rhythm Nation album for us, it was about making a difference in a kid's life, a teenager's life. From them talking about this path, taking this path with drugs and going down this wrong street to trying to make something of themselves. On the record, she's saying about joining voices in protest to social injustice and pushing toward a world rid of color lines. I wonder where she stands on the forthcoming election. After all, I say, America will be on the verge of voting for its first black female president, Kamala Harris, which of course I had people in my timeline, oh, Janet's right, she's not black. She's biracial. First of all, who are you to determine what somebody is? Biracial is not a race. Now, when she goes and gets pulled over by them cops and they look at her skin complexion, they're going to say a black woman. They don't care about all the little nuance. Oh, she's black and Indian. No, ain't nobody thinking about all that when they see you in person. When them white people pull your ass over, you a black woman. So stop it. So they said, well, you know what they supposedly said, she asked me. She's not black. That's what I heard, that she's Indian. Now, here's the thing. She volunteered this herself based off this article. She looks at me expectantly, perhaps assuming that I have Indian heritage. Well, she's both, I offer. Her father's white. That's what I was told. I mean, I haven't watched the news in a few days, she coughs. I was told that they discovered her father was white. I'm floored at this point. It's a well-known that Harris's father is a Jamaican economist, a Stanford professor who split from her Indian mother when she was 5. My mother understood very well that she was raising 2 black daughters, Harris wrote in her book, The Truths We Hold. This is what she said in her book. So if y'all can read, because apparently y'all can't, this was said in that. So when people go back and forth and say, well, she keep flip-flopping on her race, I ain't never heard that woman do that. Ever. In any of the interviews that I watch where I've never heard her flip back and forth on that. I have heard her many a times acknowledge her Indian side and her black side. And here's the thing, with most of us who are proud of who we are and stand 10 toes down in our race and our ethnic background, whatever the hell you want to call it, I don't disacknowledge other sides of me. When I talk about myself being of mixed race, I acknowledge all the sides because I'm not going to deny my mother and I'm not going to deny my father. And at the end of the day, we're always stuck in a rock and a hard place because I don't think a lot of people understand what it's like to be of multiple races, 2 or more races, as they want you to check that damn box when you have to fill out the paperwork. So they said the people who are the most vocal in questioning the facts of Harris's identity tend to be hardcore QAnon adjacent, Trump loving conspiracy theorists. I don't think Jackson falls into that camp, but I do wonder what the algorithms are serving her. She said, I start again. Harris has dual heritage, I say. And given this moment, does Jackson think America's ready for her if we agree she's black or, okay, a woman of color? She said, I don't know. Honestly, I don't want to answer that because I really truthfully don't know. I think either way it goes is going to be mayhem. Because, we heard the recent story about pow-powing happening at one of Kamala Harris's, like where she has her camp set up or whatever for her campaign. So there's a lot of this craziness going on. There's people who don't want this woman becoming president and are trying to take her out. Then there's people allegedly that trying to take Trump out. So there you have it. You have all that laid out. That is the whole full foundation because I felt like I had to read it because everybody's running with this narrative of something that was said. They're running with cliff notes. They're running with sound bites and they're just giving their opinion on it. So now y'all can't put no damn words in my mouth because I said what I said reading the damn article to you. This is just me generally speaking. So now let's get in. Now let's unpack it because when we're sitting there talking about what you said in regards to that, the fact that her identity tends to be hardcore QAnon adjacent Trump loving conspiracy theorists, well, you don't think Janet falls in that camp, but you wonder what algorithms are serving her or who's chirping in her ear, which brings us to the story. I know it had to be a roundabout way that we get there, but a lot of times we got to break things down on this show. I don't do TikTok cliff notes. If that's what some of y'all want, y'all can go get that elsewhere. But with me, I'm here to break it all down because sometimes you have to do that for people to get the full nuance of the situation. So who's feeding her this information? Well, according to the word on the street, and we've been saying this, people feel like her brother and manager, Randy Jackson, and not the one from American Idol. They feel like he's been in her ear, feeding her misinformation. And I'm sure that probably when she's walking in and out of the house, they probably, well, her living in London, whatever the conservative channels are over there. I don't know what the British version equivalent of Fox News and News Nation and the Federalists and all that other foolishness is. I don't know what the equivalent of that is, but I'm sure if Randy is up in that house, that's what's playing in that TV, and she's probably catching some of that stuff in her ear and believing whatever the foolishness on that TV, because Janet is a celebrity who lives in a damn bubble. She don't live like the rest of us. But you would think that she would have a mind of her own, but clearly she doesn't. So it says the furor began on Saturday after the Guardian newspaper published an interview with the Control singer. So we don't need to go through that because we already broke all that down. But let's get to the meat and potatoes. Now, the criticism on social media was swift and devastating as comedian D.L. Hughley blasted the interview as sounding like a Trump rally and even took a shot at the singer's plastic surgery. He said it's a little iconic to question whether someone is black while you're breathing through the nose of a white woman. This is what he wrote on Twitter. And people was getting mad over that, but I'm like, look, first of all, I don't give a damn who it is. And this is why I got to give a shout out to Roland Martin, because I was watching a video of his yesterday and I was like, thank you. I got up and clapped. Because I was like, you are literally saying the same thing that I've said, which is I don't give a damn who you are. When you have a position where you can influence a lot of people, you are not beyond reproach. You are not exempt from criticism. And Janet, I don't care how much she has contributed to music. When you say something dumb and you give misinformation and disinformation, you are not beyond criticism. Now, this stuff about people talking about she's canceled, that's a bunch of BS. First of all, you can't cancel a celebrity. They're not a sitcom. They're not a TV show. They're not a movie. You can't cancel a show. I mean, you can't cancel a human being. You can cancel a show, but you can't cancel a human being. And for her saying what she said, okay, that's what she believed. But at this point, it's like you could go and see her do the same tight ass two-step at her residency at the end of the year, or you could stop listening to her music. That's up to you. But I don't think that this little thing that she said is enough where y'all could just run around and say, oh, yeah, we're going to cancel her. So I don't agree with that. I just feel like anybody who says something that is incorrect, you deserve to be checked. She is not beyond reproach. I don't care how much she's contributed. And I don't understand people who go and say that, oh, we're not going to cancel her, or we're not going to do this, or we're not going to criticize her. I'm not going to go too hard on her. For what? Does she shit gold? I'm sorry. Her shit stink like the rest of ours. If she got to pull out a goddamn air freshener after wiping her ass from blowing up a bathroom like the rest of us, then she is not beyond reproach. I'm sorry. And I don't care how harsh it sounds, but you know you ain't getting no Disney-fied version of stuff as being set up in here. I call it as I see it. I give it straight with no chaser. That's how I like my liquor. Like I give it to you straight. Ish. So they also said that they're told that her inner circle, this is according to the Daily Mail, I should say. Oh, and actually not Daily Mail. This was page 6, because they spoke to somebody from the inner circle. They said he was perplexed by the interview and feel that the fallout could be more severe than that of Nipplegate after her infamous Super Bowl performance 20 years ago, because her comments could tarnish her sterling reputation as a champion of marginalized groups. And this is the point I'm trying to get to. For somebody who has come out and made, when you get Whoopi Goldberg clueless behind or celebrity ass kissing behind, she's not a political animal. You clearly don't listen to Janet's music. Because when you put yourself in a position to be a champion of marginalized groups, when you recorded a whole album called Rhythm Nation 1814, when you was talking about taking control of your career as a woman, when you came out with as a champion of the gays with the Velvet Rope, then what are we supposed to do? All of a sudden now she's not a political animal? These are all political themes. So what are you talking about? Now, the Rock and Roll Hall of Famer has tackled social media and social issues, as I said, like homophobia, female empowerment, and racism in her work, and her trademark tune calls for the world to unite beyond music. How can she sing about Rhythm Nation and make comments like that, said an insider. It doesn't even sound like her. She's so methodical. I don't know who made her do this. What made her do this? Randy. That's who made her do it. And I hate the fact that, you know what, but I guess it's good being, I guess it's and sometimes it's lonely being wrong. I mean, lonely being right. I was going to say lonely being wrong. Lonely being right. Because all the stuff that these people are saying, I said this. But let's continue. The source adds that Jackson, who lives in London, doesn't really watch the news anymore. She does live in a bubble. They're also told that Janet learned of the outrage while partying with her crew, including designer Christian Siriano in Paris. Excuse me. Janet and Randy's attitude was just to let it blow over. They weren't planning to address it. This is what another source told us. And then we had the person that came out, Mo Al-Masri, who claimed to be her manager, who issued an apology on her behalf to BuzzFeed, and then her rep walked it back in a Variety article and declared that Al-Masri doesn't work for Janet. So basically saying that he was literally fired for for basically trying to clean up her mess. They further said the Jackson siblings would not be commenting on the interview as they are mourning their older brother Tito, who passed away last week. Okay, well, I guess we'll give you the grace for that. But once that whole situation is happening, then the next time you have to do an interview, you got to promote something. So we're not gonna bring this up because you know they are. Now things even got more confusing. Girl, so confusing. After People magazine published another apology, which it updated after the rep told them that he does not represent Janet in any capacity, according to the article. El-Masri later alleged Janet and Randy fired him after attempts to improve her image in front of public opinion and her fans, and this is something I do not deserve. This isn't the first time El-Masri has claimed that he managed Janet. In August, he announced the singer's upcoming Las Vegas residency as her manager. Janet's publicity team later sent out an official announcement, but curiously didn't address El-Masri speaking on the singer's behalf back then. But multiple sources insist no one in her camp knows who he is. Okay, well, if they paid to pull a Mariah and say, I don't know her, then I guess that's what they're going to go with to keep their job. Now, it's a completely out of the blue. No one has ever heard of this guy, not any breath of him. This is what one insider told the source. Another source told them that they never heard the guy's name in my life and believes Randy brought him on. Randy's sabotaging her legacy because he's not savvy. She's giving Randy control, and no one understands how he's managing her when he's never had a career. She pays for everything. But maybe that's what it is. He's a mooch. Because, yeah, if you're the manager, you have to pay your manager. They further told us that Janet listens to Randy, who is a Trump supporter and conspiracy theorist. Janet's bubble is small, and she listens to Randy. She does peddle in conspiracy theories. Janet spoke about Randy as her manager in the interview and explained he's the reason she hasn't released new music. Well, exactly, because they told about the whole Black Diamond thing, and I told y'all in the interview prior, not in this one, but she mentions in the interview about Black Diamond, and we don't even know what the status on it is. She was basically talking about how, you got to ask Randy. He's the one that's in that. So basically it said, from the outside, the last few days have looked a little muddled. Tours have been promised before and have been left unfulfilled. An album, Black Diamond, was announced and then junked. She said, I feel so badly about that. This is what she said sheepishly. There was this stuff I had to clean up in my own backyard, which got cleaned up. She motions deliberately vague. And I have recorded a lot of music, she laughs. A lot of music that's just sitting on the shelf. So why isn't she releasing it? I went to my brother Randy, and I think he's just waiting for the opportune time. Well, sis, the opportune time is now. People have been waiting God knows how long for this damn Black Diamond album. You promised that almost a damn decade ago. What the hell are you waiting on? And first of all, Randy ain't a singer. So what the hell do you need to wait on him for? Shouldn't you, as the artist, be making a decision on your own career on when you should and should not be releasing music? It's not like you're tied to a label. You're independent. With a distribution deal, pushing your music. So what are you talking about? But they said that they are partners in Rhythm Nation Records, but he is a such big part of her decision-making process. So what the hell are you waiting on? Child, y'all gonna be waiting on that album like y'all waiting for Jesus to come back from the dead. That's when that Black Diamond album gonna come out. So they also said that Janet spoke about Randy as her manager in the interview. And they also said that she doesn't have enough material for a new album and hasn't recorded in the studio since before the pandemic. Well, if you don't have enough music, just make an EP. Who's really releasing full albums anymore? That's the assistant. That's her giving that, full top head. But let's leave this here. You don't need to release new music. You could do an EP and have just a couple of songs, like the best songs that you've cut, put that out, and perform that on the tour. Because we already know what you're gonna give on the tour, chair. So I don't know why you keep, and they also went on and said, I don't know why she keeps promising new music because there is none, at least not enough for a full album. This was a third source claimed. In the meantime, Janet is closing out the second leg of her Together Again tour in London and is preparing to return to Vegas for a new residency at the end of the year. So that's basically all that we have on that. And I feel like I said all I need to say in regards to this because I feel like, you know what, Randy is pretty much going to run her damn career into the ground. She's listening to him. He's a QAnon, Trump supporting conspiracy theorist, spewing a whole bunch of crap in her ear. She's lived in this bubble. But it goes to show that, you know what, maybe it's a lot of that radicalization of them growing up Jehovah's Witness when she's always had like that cult mindset. Like, the Jehovah's Witnesses ain't no different than them damn Scientologists. There's a lot of these little cultures, religious situations where y'all get wrapped up in this matrix and y'all don't see nothing outside of your little bubble. And we get that she's like this big superstar. But yeah, like I said before, when you say the stupidest things, you're going to get called out. So that's all I got to say on that. But I'll ask you this. What do y'all think of this story? Do y'all think she is being radicalized? And if it is, it's a damn shame. I guess I'm just going to have to appreciate old Janet and what she gave us back in the day because new Janet is a mess. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below.